If you look at this question, students, it's told in the problem omega is a complex root of unity. So we know that omega is nothing but minus 1 plus I root 3 divided by 2. Correct? Omega square is equal to minus 1 minus root 3 I divided by 2, or I root 3 divided by 2. Omega cube is equal to 1 and 1 plus omega square is equal to 0. Is it right? Pij is a n cross n matrix, which means P is equal to Pij. I can write like this, n cross n, where Pij is defined by omega to the power of I plus j. So let's say put n is equal to 1. Put n is equal to 1. So your value of P will become equal to P11, 1 cross 1. Correct? 1 cross 1 means 1, 1, 1, right? So this is nothing but omega square. Is it right? Omega square, 1 cross 1. So P square will be equal to P into P. That is nothing but omega square multiplied by omega square. That is equal to omega to the power of 4. Omega cube is 1. Omega cube is 1. So I can write this is equal to omega. This is not equal to 0. This is not equal to 0. Is it okay? Not equal to 0. Similarly, if I do put n is equal to 2, what do you get when you put n is equal to 2? When you put n is equal to 2, you will get this matrix P will be equal to a 2 cross 2 matrix. 2 cross 2 matrix. So I can write P11, P12, P21 and P22. Correct? 2 cross 2. P11 will be what? P11 will be omega to the power of 2, omega cube and omega to the power of 4, which can be written as omega square. Omega cube is 1, 1 and omega. So we can write P square, that is equal to P into P. That is nothing but omega square 1, 1 omega multiplied by omega square 1, 1 omega. Is it okay? So what is this answer that we get? Omega to the power 4 plus 1. Similarly, omega square plus omega. Similarly, omega square plus omega and 1 plus omega. 1 plus omega. This is nothing but P square. This is P square. So obviously, omega to the power 4 plus 1 can be written as omega plus 1 and omega square plus omega, and here omega square plus omega and 1 plus omega. This is definitely not equal to 0. Is it right? Now we'll put n is equal to 3. When you put n is equal to 3, you will get this matrix P will be equal to a 3 cross 3 matrix. P11, P12, P13, P21, P22, P23 and P31, P32, P33. This is a 3 cross 3 matrix now, which will result. So your P square will be equal to P into P. So this matrix answer will be P11 will be omega square, omega cube and then omega to the power 4, omega cube, omega to the power 4, omega to the power 5 and then omega to the power of 4 into omega to the power of 5 into omega to the power 6, omega to the power of 6. So this will be equal to P. Let's say this is equal to P now. Let's say this is equal to P. This can be further simplified to omega square 1 omega square and then omega square and 1. Is that right? Now our job is to find out what is the value of P. Our job is to find out what is the value of P square now. So let's find out what is the value of P square. Let's find out what is the value of P square. P square can be written as P into P. What is this answer that we get now? P square, P into P. Omega square 1 omega square, omega square 1 multiplied with omega square 1 omega square, omega square 1. Correct? So we will get here omega to the power 4, that is nothing but omega plus 1 plus omega square. 1 plus omega square is 0, right? Here we will get 0. All right, we will get here 0. Similarly, omega square plus omega cube is 1. Again we will get 0 here. Similarly, omega square omega cube is nothing but 1 plus omega square plus omega. This also will be 0. So if you basically see, all the elements will become equal to, what is it here, 1 plus omega square form. Everything will become equal to 0. So your p cube value should be equal to 0, which means this matrix will become equal to 0 for all the odd multiples, or for all the multiples of pi by 2, correct or not? For all the multiples of 3, not pi by 2, 3. So p square will become equal to 0 for all multiples of 3. Multiples of 3. Now the question here is asking, n is equal to what? If p square should not become equal to 0, then n should be equal to what is the question asked? If p square should not become equal to 0, then what is the value of n? You see, what multiple of 3 is there? Which of the following cannot be the answer here? The options given are 57, 55. First option given in the problem is 57. Second one is 55. Third option is 58 and 56, students. 58 and 56. That is the option which is seen, right? You see that 57 is a multiple of 3. Whenever 57 is a multiple of 3, p square is a multiple of, p square will become equal to 0, right? 57 goes in 3, right? So that cannot be the case. This cannot be the case. Any one of the following can be the case. If p square should not become equal to 0, then value of n can be either 55, 58 or 56. 57 cannot be the answer to the question. Do you get it?